Hello, everyone. We are very glad to see you today. My name is Victor. I'm the product manager of Jmix. Today, I'm here with Gleb. Awesome. Gleb is here. Gleb is our tech lead of the Jmix platform and responsible for everything around UI. You may know him from the previous video related to the Fancy UI Part 1. And today we are the webinar which stands for Fancy UI Part 2. Very special naming for today, yeah, really. By the way, if you can hear us and see us well, please write something in the chat telling that everything's okay. We'll start slightly with our today's topic, and we'll start from some questions until people connecting to our webinar today. Yeah, I see Mladen here. I have several questions to Gleb, and the first question is the following. The previous video, Fancy UI Part 1, was very popular. It appeared to get more than 1,000 views. And what's more, it is the most viewed video for the last from the last year. So it was the top popular video on our channel. And I suppose this because you are looking good, Claire. But what do you think? Is it real?
I won't argue with this point.
Well,
But,
what's your argument?
I'm too shy to agree with you, but I won't argue with this point.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, for sure. I think that this is because Jmix UI is very interesting and important for those who are using Jmix daily. You may know that Jmix is basically stands on three pillars: UI, data, and security. And UI is the most shiny and the most nice thing, awesome thing, which our end users can see. But anyway, can you give us a short overview about the things we've talked last time for those who just connected to us and they have no chance to see the previous video?
Sure. Previously on UI workshops, we discussed styling and layout specifics, which brings to us Jmix Flow UI. Specifically, that with the release of Vaadin Flow that we're using, Vaadin adapted to modern web development trends. And this means that the layout system reflects those of modern web. For example, HBox and VBox containers have attributes such as align items and justify content, because these containers are Flexbox containers, like in web. And the flexible box layout module is an industry standard for creating web pages. So understanding Flexbox is a key to understanding layouts in Jmix, as well as the CSS grid layout module. So this was the main thought of UI workshop part 1.
Thank you, Gleb. Definitely, we've passed through the main, let's say, concepts of building modern UI, not only for Jmix, but for every other technologies. And once we say that you don't need to know front-end technologies to adopt Jmix while building your web application, but this doesn't mean you need to avoid all front-end technologies. You need to know a few, yeah. And I know that especially CSS is a very important thing for Jmix developers. And my next question to Gleb is, why do you think this is so important? What this technology can give to Jmix developers, actually?
Mm-hmm. Well, as you said, the user interface is an important part of any application. And often when working on a project, backend and frontend are developed by different specialists. But since Jmix helps to become a full stack developer, people are interested in an area that may be new to them. And the goal of our workshops, UI workshops, is to show people that you can develop UI of any complexity on Jmix, not just typical CRUDs. And well, my personal intention is to show you that you should not be afraid to get your hands dirty in front-end features such as HTML and CSS. On the contrary, it will help you become more productive. Don't get me wrong. As a framework, we should provide you with that opportunity to be more productive, in particular to provide appropriate UI components or, for example, screen templates.
Yeah.
But we have our own feature release plan. And for example, group data grid component is more important component than, for example, card list component, which suits more for customer-facing applications. And also, the design of the screens may vary greatly from application to application, and we cannot provide all possible screen templates or examples. So once you open your mind to CSS, you will be able to do really custom things in terms of UI. Again, not only the visual appearance, but also the layout.
I think this is the main point. I think the layouting.
Yeah,
because
yeah, and well, as my former master said, CSS is a pathway to many abilities. Some consider it to be unnatural.
no, this thing, from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Very funny. Very funny.
From our Emperor Chief Palpatine, of course.
Yeah. That's great. That's great to hear. Well, if you don't know this message, please review the Star Wars series. Okay, and what is our plan for today, Gleb? Can you just tell shortly what we are going to touch today?
Continuing from the topic of the previous workshop, where we have seen that using styles, we can not only color UI components, but also solve everyday tasks of placing components on the screen, because even ordinary attributes of containers or components are actually transformed into the corresponding CSS properties or HTML attributes. So if we want to create something really custom, something that lays beyond usual Jmix UI, we can do it. And I'm going to show you how.
That sounds great. That sounds definitely great. So let's go. And by the way, I will just say in advance that I will be in the background of today's demonstration, and sometimes I will ask questions to Gleb or maybe comment something displaying on the screen, but you won't see my face. I will be just behind the borders. Yeah, we have no ability to show to people at the same time while displaying the desktop. So let's go, Gleb. I don't want to get more time from your today's demonstration.
Okay, thank you. So, for example, in the slide, I have a concept for a completely custom main view that looks more like a social media page than an enterprise application. And we can easily implement a similar design in Jmix application. So let's do this. And I will start with the main view. And instead of changing the default main view template, which extends standard main view class based on the app layout component, I'm going to use standard view base class and remove everything else. So we will start from scratch. So let's change base class. It will be standard view. And since the main view is used to display other views, it must implement the router layout interface, because we use, because we use standard view as a base class, we need to add it explicitly. So implements router layout like this, and then go to the XML of our main view and remove everything. So I remove this. I change XMS schema and place empty layout. So we're gonna start. Actually, let me start my application so we can see that I have a blank main view. What's going on? Okay, continue anyway. Oh, some demo issues. Sorry for that.
What's going on?
I corrupted my debug configuration for some reason.
That's your thing.
Okay, let's try this one. Typical demo issues for me.
Hope today demo gods will be with us. This will be the main issue today.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay, and let's check that. Yes, my main view is empty, it's blank. So let's start with designing our main view. And if we go back to our presentation, thank you, Teams. We can see that here on the top, we have kind of header. So let's start with the header of our application. And to speed up things, I will use code snippet and just explain it in terms of XML. So actually, it looks similar to what we have in the default main view template. It has the header section for context reason. So we could have used div or hbox, but for the context reasons, in HTML, we use the header element with custom class names. Also, we have a content wrapper, which we'll use to limit the size of our content. And here we have two parts, like anchor, which is the link to the main view, and inside it, image and application title. Also, we have this section that contains user indicator and logout button. Pretty typical XML markup. Probably it's worth noticing that, for example, for the image component, I use this value as a width and height. Why is that? So probably you noticed that, probably you know that width and height, it's not only like numeric values. This attribute can apply any valid CSS value for these attributes. And when we're developing modern applications, it's better not to hardcode values like, I don't know, 24 pixels or stuff like that. It's better to use relative units, for example, EM, which depends on the font size, or even we can use CSS variables, which we discussed in the first part of our UI workshop. And I can use these values directly in the XML. Just for demo purposes, because as you will see, I will style everything in terms of layouting, sizes, and stuff like that. It's just for demo purposes to show you that it is possible and you can use it. For example, when you develop on my screen and you need to prototype it quickly. Same is applicable for this CSS property. For example, if you don't have time, or just again, we prototype in the view and want to test some CSS attributes, how they will be applied, how our view will look like, we can use this CSS property that injects this CSS rules into our element, corresponding element of this particular component. And for example, here I'm using flex layout component, which is actually a simple div, but with display mode flexbox by default. And since this component doesn't provide API for setting the gap, which means spacing between components, I can quickly add gap using CSS attribute. But again, it's here I place it just for demo purpose because it would be better to move everything to styles because all other things I will style, and you will see that. Okay, let me refresh the page and see that my markup is here, but it looks ugly because we should style it to make it looks the way we want it to look. And let me do it like this. So we, again, in the previous workshop, we've seen that when we change styles of our application, they are applied immediately without the need to refresh the page. So I will use it to show you what changing when I add styles to my application. So let's start with the background color, HTML, and let it be background color, for example, RGB, sorry, 8 and 240 like this, and move this file to another page, to another screen. Okay, so I see that the background of my application changed to some grayish color, and now I want to remove all default styles for the main view because we are going to implement our own styles, and I'm going to start with implementing custom CSS properties. So in addition to use the default CSS properties provided by us or by Vaadin or by other library that you're using, we can create our own. Just it's the same like in Java, just assign the value to a named variable. And I'm going to start with content. This let it be, for example, 1280 pixels. And another variable is header height. And its value will be one of the Vaadin's CSS variables. Size L. Okay. Now let's start with the header. So if we remember, its class name is Jmix main view header. So what I want for this element, first of all, I want it to be fixed to the top. So even if we scroll our application, the header is always visible. So I set position fixed and to which anchors. Left, right, and also at that index, so header will be above other elements when we scroll, so they will go beyond it. Okay. Not box sizing, border box is just for simplifying layouting, just CSS stuff. Let's change background color to one of the predefined Vaadin variables, Lumo base color, which is by default is white. We can see it. So as you can see, when I applied my styles, just save the file to trigger that I changed this file. My page has changed its appearance, and I can see that my styles are working. Okay, let's proceed. Let's set the height of our header to header height. Width 100%, and change its display to flex. Flex direction is column. As we discussed in the first UI workshop, flexible box layouting model has two directions like column and row, so horizontal and vertical. In my case, I wanted to make it column because it will be easier to align items inside it in cross axis. So all items, center, like this. And also, I personally like shadows, little shadows, which adds like bevel to our applications.
Okay.
1 pixel, 2 pixels, and the color will be Luma contrast 20%. Okay, like this. Awesome. The next element inside it was Jmix main view header content wrapper. Let's style it. Okay, for it I want width 100%, height 100% because it will be inside its small header. Also display flex and aligning items inside it. So justify content space between. If I apply it, you can see that my two sections, like for link and for section with logout button and user indicator, now located on opposite sides. This is because justify content is set to space between. It's one of typical CSS properties. Also, let's set align at center. And define the max width property equal to our content width property. For now, you don't see any changes because, well, my screen is too narrow. If I make it wider, you can see that if the width of my window is less than max width, then my content occupies 100% width. Otherwise, it has its limit, which is what I want according to our design of our main view. Okay. Let's proceed with the user indicator. I want to make it's like semi-bold. And for that, I just, to speed up things, also use small snippet. So I just set font weight for Jmix user indicator component. So it'll become bolder. Okay, now let's style the title. Okay, like this. Let me do the following, just so it's easier to see. Okay, box sizing, border box. Again, display flex, align items center. Gap, which we already know, this is a flexbox attribute for spacing. Let's set it to one of the default values, Luma space S. Also, let's set text to uppercase. So we use text transform uppercase like this. So we don't need to type our value in uppercase if we want it. We just can transform text using CSS.
Magic.
Magic. And padding. Let's set padding in line to one of the default values. Luma. I'm sorry. Space S. Okay, so I can see this spacing. Also, pay attention when I hover over this link, because actually this is a link, yeah? Anchor element in XML is a full name of a element in HTML, anchor link. When I hover over it, we can see that text has this underscore. I don't want it. I want something like change the background color, highlighting this link. So we can also change it. Okay, and so when we hover over it, let's set text, text decoration to none. So we disabling default browser link behavior when we hover over it, but instead we will change color to something like Luma contrast 20. No, 20 too much, 5%. Hover. So now when I hover over this link, it changes the background color. Okay, another thing here, probably not very important, but when we navigating in our application using the tab key, we see this like visible focus for UI components, and almost all UI components have styled this focus. It's called it's called focus link in Vaadin, and our link has the default browser outline for this, which I want to avoid. So I'm going to do the following: focus visible, outline none. So now when I'm navigating using tab keyboard, it doesn't focus. So this link is only for clicking by mouse. Okay. I believe that we finished with our header. It looks similar to our concept. Let's move on to the content part of our application. And again, I will use snippet for XML part because it's less interesting. In my opinion, it's easy. All of you, I believe, know how to write XML code. So let's concentrate only on styling. What we have for the content part? We have div, which is a wrapper for the whole content. And for now, it contains two parts. One of them is a side panel, which contains user avatar component and navigation side menu with custom class names. And the second section is a content wrapper. This is a place where we will show our views when we open them. Okay. And also, before we proceed, let's adjust the root layout element and set that it should align items in the center and remove default padding. So our content will be placed in the middle of our browser window, like our header. Okay, let's refresh the page and show that, yeah, I see menu, but if I try to open something, it looks ugly. Let's style it. Okay. Let's copy this class name. Sorry. And again, let me move it to the top. So I want my content or layout wrapper to be 100% width. But again, same as for the header, we will have max width value. So it will be 100%, but not bigger than our content width. Okay. And this time I will use the grid display mode for the content. And what I like in grid display mode is that we can provide named regions in which we want to place some of nested elements. So it's doing like this. Grid template, first value, first area will be nav, and the second content. And for these areas, we can provide like their sizes. For example, for the navigation area, I want it to be 30 em width. And the rest of the available space, I want to spend on the content area. That's why I use this FR value, 1FR, which means like fraction, if I could remember. So it's like take one the whole part and just 30 em for the nav. And let's define gap between columns. Grid column gap equal to sorry, not like this. Luma space m. And also I want to define the padding for my content, because since we defined position fixed for the header, it doesn't occupy space. And we want our content to be above, below our header. And this is why we need to add like padding for it lower. And this is why we defined our custom variable header height, because we will use it in calculation in our formula. So padding top equals to the calc like this, header height plus some default padding luma space m, like this. So now I can see my user avatar, because previously without this padding, it is like below our header. Again, because header is a position fixed. So I just adding padding to see everything on my screen. Next, let's style side panel, this one. And for side panel, I want to define in which grid area it should be located. So I can explicitly say that you should be placed in the grid area called nav. And also, let's like stretch items on the cross axis of this side panel. It's kind of setting width 100%, but with small differences. We don't see any changes because by default, if we don't specify a grid area explicitly, components added one by one in their order. And since I placed my components correctly inside XML, they taking the correct column. But in fact, I can mess up with them. And when setting grid area explicitly, despite actual order, nested component will be placed in correct column. Okay, let's move on to the user avatar. And for now, it's too small. So let's change corresponding component CSS variable defined by Vaadin, called Vaadin avatar size, and set it to, for example, 10 em, like this. So user avatar becomes bigger. Okay, let's move on to the navigation section. And for it, I want to set display flex direction column, because we want vertical direction. And as you can see, the default navigation component, side menu component, has this border. I want to disable it. Border bottom, none. And also I want disable any default scroll bars. If, for example, we will have a lot of menu items, yeah, I want to disable default scroll bar of this particular component, so it will grow into our browser and use full page scroll in case it's needed. So overflow visible, and prevent this component from changing its size, either in bigger size or reducing size. Flex, shrink, zero. It's all again Flexbox stuff. So I prevent this component from become bigger or lesser. Okay, and small snippet for show and overflow in Jmix list menu component, again, just to prevent showing some default scroll bars. And now I can move on to the content wrapper element. So what I want set here I want to define that it should be placed inside content column, inside grid, has width 100% to occupy the whole available space. And also I wanted to have border radius, because I like border radius. just because of that, actually.
You
It's
are a
pretty
UI person, so that's okay.
radius L, some bigger border radius. Okay, and height to fit content. So this particular element will have its height so that it can fully display content inside it, like this. Awesome. No, don't save that. Let's try to open some view to see if our content displays everything as we planned. For example, let's try to open users. Not exactly what I wanted to see. The thing is that a component that implements the router layout interface should implement its show router layout content method, but it has a default implementation which we see in action right now. So just add as a last child. Since we have a dedicated area to place nested views, let's provide a correct implementation of the show router layout content method. So let's override show router layout content method, remove its default implementation, inject our content wrapper component, and provide the following implementation. Again, to speed up things, just copy paste and explain everything. So show router layout content accepts not a component but element of the component that we are going to show. So here we check if this element is bound to any UI component, and if so, and it's not now, we add it to our content wrapper. Also, there is like remove router layout content, but the default implementation is good for us. It just tells content that remove from parent. We don't need to provide our actual parent, so it will work by default as we want it to work. But in case of adding content to our main view, we want to provide actual place, our content wrapper. Okay, let's refresh the page a couple of times. It is defined. Don't lie to me. Okay, so what I see now, I see that according to our design, to our markup, the content of my header and the content of the main part of our application aligned and have maximum width, like 1280 pixels. But if the width is not sufficient, it's like 100%. Okay, and when I open screens, yeah, so I have my side menu and the content of my screen. Plus, I can see that I use a scroll of the entire page, which is good for me. Awesome. Now the views have the correct placement, but we're still missing something. I want to style the views so that they look like panels. Otherwise, I have added border radius. So let's do this, and let's shrink it like this. And to implement this, first of all, I want to add a custom class name to every opponent view. So here, just before I add it to the content wrapper, I'll set it like jmix main view content. Class name, and go back here and style it like this. So background color, again, Luma base color, which is white. Box shadow, again, because I like shadows, because it's add bevels to our UI. I will use one of the predefined Luma variables for the shadow, Luma box shadow XS, and again, border radius or sorry, Luma border radius Zeus L. Okay, let's refresh the page. So our Java code is applied like this. So now my views looks like panels with shadow, with border radius, and well, it looks pretty nice in my opinion. Okay, let's go back to our presentation slide, and in the backup we also have a side panel with additional information on the right side. For example, it can be an advertisement. Let's add it. Let's go back to our XML, and I'm gonna add the following here. So just another div, the third div in our layout wrapper, additional column with just text for demo purposes, which is Lorem ipsum. Okay, let's refresh the page, and I see that my text is somewhere on the bottom, which is not what I want to see. Let's style it. And before we move on to the additional column, let's provide a third column in our grid system for it. Let's name it additional column. Let it be 30 EM, same as our navigation column, and you can see already that it's applied. So now let's style our additional column like this. So grid area, even though it is in the third position, so it added to the third column, it's better to provide explicit name for grid area, just in case. Let me copy. Change background color to Luma base color. Set border radius. Same flex shrink to prevent it from changing size. Same height fit content, so it displays. It has height sufficient to display the full content placed inside it. Let's add paddings, because for now it's, well, without paddings it looks ugly. Let's set some default value. And also I want, let's set box shadow. And well, let me open this post view. You can see when I scroll my view, both navigation panel and my addition column, they scrolls along with the whole content on the view. But in case of the advertisement, I want user to see it always. And for that, I'm going to use position sticky. Sticky to the top. Top, and the same formula as for the padding here. So now, when I scroll my view, my advertisement is always visible for the users, which increases the time of viewing advertisement, more income for us. Okay. Well, actually, it looks like we finished our main view because it looks like our concept. But since we're creating a consumer-facing app, let's convert this enterprise-ish table into something more social media-like. For example, a list of cards. And in particular, I'm going to leave a single column in the data grid component used here and implement a complex renderer for it. And for this purpose, I will use the fragment renderer approach, where I can define the renderer layout using XML and then style it. So let's create a new renderer. I'm going to use blank fragment, name it post renderer. Let's change package to component renderer like this and create. Awesome. Okay, to speed up things, I'm gonna use snippet for my fragment. It's simple. It contains in this container, and in case of fragment renderer, which is a specific base class for such cases, this optional container is used for the entity that will be used by the renderer. And the layout is simple. So it contains image, section for text like header and just message or text, and footer with buttons for likes, comments, and views, because this post view contains title, body, views information, and reactions. Okay, now let's move on to the controller of the fragment renderer. And here, instead of just fragment, I'm going to use fragment renderer base class, which in addition to the type of root content, in my case div, also provides information about item type. In my case, it's post entity div. Also, we need to define renderer item container. It's similar like in views, yeah. Edited entity containers. Here we have render items container, so similar thing. Well, pay attention that, for example, for attributes like for components like header or div, we can bind them to containers property like title and body. But in case of buttons, buttons don't have data binding, at least yet. But I want to provide text for these buttons using value from my entity. And for this case, I can override the set item method from a fragment renderer, which is used by data grid or virtual list to set item to this particular fragment renderer, and just add my code. Again, to speed up things, a simple snippet. So let's inject image, link button, dislike button, comments button, views button, and also this demo project has a predefined post service, which is used to load data, because actually these posts and corresponding comments are not hard-coded data in my project. It's just fetched from dummy JSON fake API. So it's actually post is a DTO entity. Okay, item. And also I want to subscribe on the click on the comments button and show the comments section corresponding to each post. So let's generate handler for the body, comments btn, click, and here the following code. So similar to set item, we have a get item. Again, it returns corresponding entity bound to this fragment renderer. And if it's not null, just in case, we show a dialog view, predefined comments view as our scope. But probably the most interesting thing here is you probably know that to show a dialog or navigate to other view, we need to provide like origin view for this. But since a fragment, any fragment is not a view, we cannot pass this, to show an error. But we can find a view in which this UI component is located. It exists. And for this, we can use this UI components utils get view method, which is, well, really convenient. Okay. And now let's apply our render. So let's open post list view and change settings of this data grid. So as I was saying, I want to leave a single column, not bound to any property. Instead, just key, let's name it content, whatever, and use fragment renderer, our post renderer like this. And let's change some settings of our grid. For example, I want to disable selection because in case of cards, it makes no sense. We have nothing to select. And change theme names. So this wrap cell content theme name for data grid is useful if we want to have like warp wrapping by default in columns like this. But since I'm using custom render, I don't need it, but I want to remove default borders from data grid. No border and no row borders. Okay. Okay, let's try to refresh the page and see. Yeah. Well, I see that my post renderer is applied. Yeah, it looks like this. We need to style it. Obviously, as with the other part of our application, we need to style it to make it look like we want it. And before we proceed with the post renderer, well, I like this white background for views, which makes them look like panels. But in case of card list, I want each card to look like a separate panel, because now you can see just, well, the whole white background. So let's add a custom class name to the root layout element of our particular post view and style it differently than the other views. So here we define class name, let's posts view. And let's go to the main view and Jmix main view content like this. If Jmix main view content is this class name which we add to any view, and if this view also has post view class name, we style it differently. We remove padding, default padding for any view. We remove background, make it transparent, and we remove box shadow that we add previously like this. So let's refresh the page to apply Java code XML. Okay, looks like we also need to disable default background of data grid component itself. So for this, if our view contains Vaadin grid component, we also set background to transparent. And I know that Vaadin provides CSS variable for setting background for each cell. It is like Vaadin grid cell background set to transparent like this. So now we can see that no white background in my post view. So now we can move on to the styling of our post renderer. And to make our theme structure clear, I'm going to add a new file for this particular post renderer. So let's go like this. Front-end themes, new style sheet. Let's place it inside component folder. Postcard CSS. Okay, we need to import it. same as in Java, we need to import our CSS files. So component postcard. Awesome. Let's do it. Sorry. Let's do it like this. Okay. Postcard. Class names defined in our XML. Postcard, post image, post body, and so on. Well, let me speed up things actually, because we're gonna use the same CSS attributes that we already seen here and just briefly describe them. So what I'm doing here, setting background color to same Lumen base color to make it white, display flex, direction column, so we have vertical orientation, align item stage is kind of forcing your nested items to have 100% width, setting border radius, box shadow, same stuff. And in case something is beyond the size of our card, it will be hidden. It is the whole card. In case of body, setting display flex, direction column. Body is a part where we have title and the actual message. Same, align it stage to make it with 100%. Spacing between them, which is gap, padding to have spacing against borders, and white space normal to have breakwords. Post footer, here these buttons are located. So display flex, align items center, so it's like vertical alignment, gap between them, and padding to have this padding around buttons. And each button has this post info icon class name to change this text color of each button to make it less noticeable. And each button has this default Vaadin CSS property, Vaadin button text color, which we can change. And since by my design, in my head, I wanted this view button to be placed separately or from the others. Each button has its own class name, and in case of view, I just added margin inline start auto here, so to move it to the opposite side. Sorry, and let's increase the width of our view of our browser so we can see an application that, in my opinion, is similar to how typical social media web pages looks like. 3 columns, advertisement, panel with user avatar, and cards in the middle of the UI. And that's actually it for today's workshop in terms of coding.
Wow, that was absolutely amazing. In the very beginning, I suppose I could comment on that, but this was not a typical Jmix development for me, actually. Well, for sure, this was great because today we opened another page in Jmix experience. There was minimum Java coding, but almost CSS styling of the components, and everything has got was going live. That's really great. And for those who are still with us, I see that we keep 30 people watching us still. Please don't forget to press the like button if you like this content. This is very important to rate the topics we will produce in future. And for sure, we are ready for your questions because I think that some things were missing or we were too fast while explaining them, and maybe we need to clarify some items. And before you write the questions, I just want to ask a few from my own The first question is, I've noticed that when you're writing utility classes names of Vaadin, IntelliJ IDEA underlined it in red. Yeah. So why does it happen? So is it a community edition? So what's...
No, it's Ultimate Edition, but Ultimate Edition can only suggest CSS variables which is defined in your project. It doesn't scan for dependencies.
Okay.
Because
So it
actually,
doesn't know these utility classes from Vaadin.
yeah, because when we built application, Vaadin like downloads node modules, creates this folder, build your project, then removes. And there is nothing the Ultimate IDEA can search for this dependencies for these variables. So probably this is why. And yeah, this is I could have implemented this fast if I don't need to type them every time and to remember them. But unfortunately, only if these variables are located in your project. Probably there is some settings or stuff like that, but I'm too lazy to search for them.
Yeah, well, okay. This is the answer, at least.
Probably our community may teach me how to teach my idea to suggest me those CSS variables.
Okay.
I I will really appreciate it.
But in any case, I think that people who participated today can download this project from GitHub. Yeah. So
Yeah,
and
it
just
should be in the description below. If I
in the description below below the video.
should be, yeah. The project will contain two branches: initial, where we started, and I will right now comment the result of our workshop.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. This is the question from Michael Lutz. He says whether it's available on GitHub. Yeah, please check the footer to this video, and you should find the demo project there. In the link to the demo project is located there. Yeah, that's it. One more question from my side. Can you please explain one more time the magic around the rotor layout? So where you've extracted the target, some component found the target and connected something to this target. What's going on there in this in this portion of code?
Yeah. So navigation is provided by Vaadin, obviously, and you probably noticed that almost every view that is intended to be opened by a link, by a road, has the road annotation, and in addition to string that describes actual road, like users or stuff like that, we have a parent attribute that is defines some class. And this parent says that this particular view should be opened not as a root view, but inside some parent.
Okay,
And
connected
this
inside.
particular parent, yeah, and this particular parent must implement this rotor layout interface from Vaadin again.
Yeah.
So when Vaadin, how it works? When we navigate some road, some link, let's say is a URL, whatever, Vaadin checks what class, what view is mapped to this road, and checks settings and see, okay, you won't be rendered inside the main view. So I have to create main view, then place you inside it. And to know where should you place, this view must implement rotor layout interface with corresponding methods: show rotor layout content and remove rotor layout content. This is how main view works. Since the default main view is based on app layout component, which has dedicated area where we want to show our view, because it has like header, side menu, and area where it shows content by default. But since we implemented our custom main view and removed any base classes, I mean, we don't depend on any UI component that has a dedicated area. We should have provided our own. And since we have it placed inside one wrapper in another wrapper and stuff like that, we injected a particular component and say that, well, when you ask me to display a content inside me, place it inside this particular component. Because Default implementations just takes an element of main view and add it as a last child.
Okay, sure. So when developing this custom layout, you should keep in mind what is the road, what is the component holding the screen, and where do you place your component. So you should understand this relationship between them.
If you forgot to add the rotor layout interface for your custom main view, you just would be able to use it as a parent in rotor annotation because it explicitly defines that this class should implement this annotation. So you won't forget because your project won't compile. You should have implemented, then you just read or experiment with it and provide correct implementation.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Now it's much more clear, but I need to practice for sure. I think that we have questions here in the YouTube. I have a question from Hans Peter. Maybe you could add this example at the fragment renderer's documentation. Thanks in advance. This is just a remark, for documentation enhancement. And the message from Gemuk. Good content, we'll be able to implement it for future projects. I hope you're able to provide inside documentation in the Git, so we'll be able to understand it through reading too. Thank you in advance. So I think this is about some additional notes maybe in the GitHub project. You've connected to this video below, but I should also notify everyone that if you want to go deeper into Jmix UI development, you can also attend in our online courses. Quarterly, we have an online course dedicated to Jmix, and during these courses, we train this specific area and show how these things can be done. So please track our online courses. Don't forget to subscribe them if this content looks interesting for you. Okay. Well, and we go further. The question from Michael Lutz. I know it might not be the main subject, but since all the experts are live, and any short generous idea to pimp a renderer to build PDF? Well,
in our UI samples application, we have an example of displaying a PDF inside iframe, I believe. So we can just.
I suppose it is an iframe.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a very valuable area on our website. You can check it in the developers section. You can find UI samples there, and if you scroll down, you will find the cookbook receipts. And across, along with things with data manipulation, you can find the PDF manipulation also, and an example with the code. How does it work? How to demonstrate the PDF inside your Jmix application? And if I'm not mistaken, this is implemented with the iframe. Yeah. Okay. Well. Thanks. These are all questions basically, and I just checked my notes and I see that, these are all questions from my side also. Things look a little bit complex from the first side, but I think this is just because I've never touched this too serious. But today we demonstrated that if you're going to build some very custom stuff, which will be focused on very demanded or let's say end users or consumer users with high requests, high requirements to how it looks and feel, this can be done still without touching the JavaScript and HTML, basically. You will need to get more experience in writing CSS, but you can do that with the same technology stack. And if you are interested in diving deeper in this area of Jmix usage, you can connect to one of our learning courses and attend the studies, attend the dedicated course to get this information directly from the trainer with the homework and with practice, with hands-on practice. You will get this knowledge also. In future, we'll try to give you more examples of how this can be implemented in the area close to business applications development. Michael says that the cookbook addresses the showing of the PDF, not building it. Yeah, basically it just demonstrates, but not builds, really.
For building, you should use different JavaScript libraries, not related to visual appearance. I mean, the renderer that used is just to show it. For example, it could be iframe or stuff like that. In case of producing PDF file, you should use dedicated JavaScript libraries.
Okay, but you can use also our reports to produce a PDF file. Yeah.
Yeah, and our repos use JavaScript libraries to create it.
But it is already integrated, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, you can define the data set, you can define the template, specify the output file as PDF, and use reports API to generate this file, then connect it to, then save it to the local storage and demonstrate it via the iframe. This is the sequence, yeah?
Yeah.
This is actually how it works, I think, in the cookbook section. But nevertheless, this is also an option for you to do this work. Michael asks, Mladen asks a question. As Gleb said, this is a very versatile tool that gives us freedom, but are there plans to provide some out-of-the-box themes and styles for the most common use cases such as social, ERP, and such?
Yes.
I think this is a question about templates.
Same as I said, for sure, as a framework, we should provide you with tools to make you more productive. But again, if you have no time to wait for templates or styles from us, you can do it yourself.
This is a good answer. Yeah, we don't block you. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is my personal point that if you open your mind to CSS, you will have you will become more independent because you don't need to wait for us. You just make things for yourself. And again, speaking of UI, as I said, it's different. For example, in my case, image is a first place. Then I have text. I'm speaking about card renderer. But for example, if you want different position stuff like that, it's better you understand how to lay out things. And also worth noticing that part of the things that I added using CSS, I could have defined using XML. For example, instead of using pure div component, I could have used vertical layout or horizontal layout, stuff like that. I deliberately used low-level HTML elements and styled them from scratch to show you the point. Yeah, that CSS is a really powerful thing in nowadays. And well, yeah, we probably going back to your question, we will provide you with templates or probably some default styles. But again, speaking about what's default styles, in most cases, I used predefined CSS variables to style something. Just grouping them using custom CSS class names. But well, probably you want different class names. I mean, different group of CSS attributes and stuff like that. But yeah, we will think about it and provide you some templates or
yeah, as it mentioned in our roadmap, we are going to make enhancements in terms of some additional UI templates, which will allow you to scaffold some basic views using the Jmix Studio. We're going to do this during this year, but we cannot say today how much templates should be done and when exactly this should be done, basically, because we have a very tough plan. You may know that we are totally involved in finalizing the starbit window mode, which is the favorite by Gleb. Yeah, and we are also going to deliver this group table. These are very complex. This is a very complex stuff, and they are top prior. So we are going to move them forward and then switch to other tasks. And we understand that bringing more templates about how to build things in Jmix, especially in the business applications area, is important. But yeah, definitely we have not so many hands to do everything simultaneously. So one by one, we should do it one by one. But until then, you shouldn't wait. You can go further with the receipts we've brought to you today. Yeah, that's it. One more question from...
Yeah, one more question.
Yeah, one more question. Just a quick, this is a question from Gimuk. Just a quick question. Is this concept responsive with the mobile web view, or is this purely for desktop web view only? Just curious. Thanks you. Thanks. So the question is whether it works the same or mobile.
Nope. Before, well, preparing this workshop, I've checked several social media websites, and none of them adapted to mobile devices because they have either separate mobile application, or separate mobile link like Facebook, stuff like that. So I deliberately didn't provide it with styles to adapt it to mobile device. So it's only for desktop.
This is the answer, yeah.
Yeah, it's not my fault. I just followed other social media sites. They force me.
This is a bad comparison. Facebook, what do they know about web development?
But speaking about mobile device, you, for example, can provide media queries in CSS, and if screen size is less than, for example, 700 pixels, you can provide different layouting for the main grid element. For example, instead of having 3 columns, have like 2 columns and 1 row, stuff like that. So it's like a home task for you, not for this workshop.
I would also add that we have a dedicated example for mobile layouting of the Jmix application, and you can find this application with the sources on GitHub. Its name is Wind Turbines. This is a progressive web application developed by pure Jmix and Vaadin functionalities, components. And demonstrates how you should do this according to the mobile look and feel. And you can find examples there how this should be done. But for sure, I think that those layouts and these views should be done separately from those which are built for desktop view, because you may use another type of components, another layouting, other styles. But this can be done. Okay. The last question, I think, for today, any reference of documentation we can refer if we want to develop UI with integration with unstructured database like MongoDB? I will answer because you can open our documentation and find the section named guides, and there you will find advanced topics. And in the advanced topics, you will find a tutorial telling you how to perform the MongoDB integration to the Jmix application. And following this guide, you will find out how to demo the data, how to view the data stored in the unstructured database in the Jmix UI. So there I will find the dedicated guide and receipts how this can be done with the code example. So everything is described there. Please use it, or you may also ask Jmix AI Assistant for help. If you will describe your question, let's say, more detailed way, it will give you more detailed answer about the exact implementation of this unstructured DB integration. I think that's all for today. Once again, don't forget to press likes, subscribe on our channel if you have not subscribed on it yet, because we try to deliver very valuable information about how to use Jmix for rapid business applications development monthly. So thank you, Gleb, for sharing your knowledge today. It was very interesting and amazing. Once again, that was amazing. Yeah, this is a very, very new experience for me also. And I think that
probably not so entertaining like the first one, because there was a lot of presentation slides and theory, and here just pure typing, pure coding. But yeah, thank you for having us.
Well, see you next time. Thank you very much once again. Bye bye. Have a nice evening, afternoon. I don't know what is your time zone, but nevertheless, if you are with Jmix, everything will be okay. Believe me. See you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. And always remember, it's great to use Jmix framework today. Cheers.
Yeah. Thank you.